Ladies and gentlemen. Would you take a look? Wait, what? Cap, brother. Cap! Ain't no way. No way it's not streaming right now. That's ridiculous. Straight up ridiculous, and it knows it. Okay, it is. Never mind. It should be working. Ladies and gentlemen, it is episode number 69, nice, of Prime Time with Philip White. It's your boy. We're back, and I am very excited, and I hope you all are as well. Oh my gosh, Cubs just gave PCA a $150 million contract. Regardless, that's not what we're talking about today. We'll talk about that some other time. But today, on episode 69, we got some big stuff to talk about. First things first, major things I got to get into. The first one being about the Sweet 16. We'll be getting into ranking those matchups. Of course, being there that there's 16 teams, there will be 8 matchups to rank. I'll kind of get into which ones I'm most excited for. We kind of did talk about that yesterday, but I definitely want to talk about it today. And then I want to get back into my wheelhouse with some football stuff going on, some Ty Simpson hype coming out of the draft. That certainly applies to my Pittsburgh Steelers, who are still in the market for a quarterback, whether that is Aaron Rodgers or Ty or Carson Beck or Drew Aller or Garrett Nussmeier, or maybe it's just Will Howard. I mean, but let's just get them all in. We'll get it'll be like a family circus kind of thing, and they'll all just live together and be one big happy family, and it'll be, of course, it'll be fun. It won't. You know what? I don't know if it'll be fun. It'll exist. We'll say that. It'll certainly exist. Regardless, I'm ready to get into it. And the other thing I want to say is we have a Tampa Bay Bucks. Some big stuff's going on there with the Levante David retirement and Baker Mayfield contract extension. So I've got a little hot take in regards to Tampa, just to get you an idea of what's going on there. So without further ado, I have to pull up my bracket, and I got to rank the matchups that I am the most excited for heading into the Sweet 16. We've got 16 squads, 8 games that are taking place Thursday and Friday. And my gosh, these are some heaters, honestly. I'm very excited to see them. We've got Duke St. John's, Michigan State UConn, Iowa Nebraska, Illinois Houston, Tennessee Iowa State, Michigan Alabama, Texas Purdue, and then Arizona battling Arkansas. They're all going to be very good. I mean, I think especially with the way round 2 went, I can only imagine that round 3 the Sweet 16 is going to be even better. I'm excited for it. I mean, I think this is going to be one of those tournaments where each round is just somehow progressively better than the previous one. And that just makes me super excited, makes me super happy. So I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see it happen, and I hope y'all are as well. So I don't know why this isn't something weird is going on with my chat. I don't really know why I'm not seeing anything. You know what? It's being, what the heck? I don't know why it's doing this. Man, it's like every day there's something else. There's always something else. Okay, there it is. I don't know why it just, all right, perfect. I fixed it. I don't know how I fixed it. Magic. All right. Starters, ranking the Sweet 16 matchups is going to be very hard because I think they're all going to be very good. I don't even want to start with 8. I think the best matchup for me that I think is going to be the most exciting out of all of them should be Iowa, Nebraska. Because, I mean, listen, it's such a weird thing. Like, we're going to see a 4 seed or lower in the Final Four, or not the Final Four, the Elite 8 guaranteed. We're going to see a 9 or a 4 in the Elite 8 guaranteed, which is really awesome. I mean, come on, it's like it's the Punt Bowl, it's the Cornhusker Bowl. I'm excited for it. Y'all should be excited for it. I mean, it's the Midwest Bowl, basically. I think that one's the one that everyone should be the most excited for, because especially with Iowa, like with Bennett Sturts, dude, coming over from Drake and then having his coach come over, that's so amazing. Like, to see what they did against Florida, to see them get that upset, that's what I'm the most excited for in regards to there. I think the second most exciting one, as someone who's from New York, is Duke St. John's. I think for whatever reason, there's like a rivalry between the, like, there was, I think I was talking about this yesterday, there's a graphic of Duke every time they've won the national championship, and it's like they had to go through St. John's at one point. I'm excited for that, being from living in New York. I'm excited to see if St. John's can find a way to take down Duke. That would be legendary to see. I do have St. John's in that one, so I would probably be my second one that I'm the most excited for. Third most, and I'm also, you know what? I'm excited. I'm gonna say put this at 3 that I'm most excited for. Texas Purdue, because I want to see if Texas can do it. I want to see if Texas can get to that Elite Eight, can down Purdue. I mean, listen, clearly the matchup is much closer. Texas out of the first 4, just generally due to like NIL constraints, they're a lot closer in skill than we clearly anticipated. Being able to take down BYU, upset Gonzaga. If they can upset Purdue, then honestly, Arizona, whoever wins between Arizona and Arkansas should be also scared. That's also probably my. No, I think Arizona, Arkansas is like 5th, just below like Michigan State, UConn, because that's also another matchup of 2 iconic coaches in the form of Hurley and Izzo. To see, you know what? For that game, can UConn bring back the old logo, the dementia riddled wolf? The wolf that looks like it's decaying on the spot. Or not the wolf, the husky. The husky that just looks like it's decaying on the spot. Can we bring that back? Can we get that logo just for this matchup against Michigan State? I think that would be very entertaining. But that one would probably be 5th, I would say. And then, I don't know. The one I'm least excited for, to be honest, probably Michigan and Alabama. The only reason I say that is because I really think Michigan's just going to smoke them. Like, what Michigan has done in the first 2 rounds, like, I wouldn't doubt it if they blow the doors off Bama. But then again, Bama's also kind of destroyed their opponents. The difference is, I think, the way Michigan does it, I don't know. That should be interesting, but I still think Michigan's going to kind of wipe the floor with them. I just have a weird gut feeling. Even as good as Bama, like, Bama's played well, but I'm not going to, I think that one's probably my least excited one. Then the other one would be Houston, Illinois. I have Illinois. I think Illinois could pull an upset. They've been very good. I'm just worried about Houston. Houston's defense is kind of vicious overall. But I still have Illinois winning. And then the other one, Tennessee, Iowa State. Honestly, Tennessee, Iowa State is probably the second I'm least excited. That could still very much be a close game. Like, I think all these games can be very close. The only one I really don't think that's going to be a nail-biter, like, potentially Texas, Purdue might not be a nail-biter, and then I would say Michigan, Alabama might be a blowout just because of how strong Michigan is. But all the other 6 are really, I think, are going to be absolute bouts. I mean, Thursday's tips off with Texas, Purdue. I believe the one after that is then Iowa, Nebraska. That's also playing at like the same time. And then Arizona, Arkansas, and Illinois, Houston would close us out on Thursday. And then I will probably be live around tip-off for that Texas-Purdue game. So that should be exciting to at least be able to catch the opening minutes and then maybe get a reaction. Imagine the game just has like a crazy, like, I don't know, some crazy run early, like Texas is up. If Texas, I would love, honestly, that would be ideal. If Texas is up, like, at least by, like, we'll say, like, 7 or more, like, around during stream, that would actually be really sick. Because I'd be like, whoa, dude, Texas is killing it. But that would be really sick to see. I don't know, I'm worried that one's not going to be that entertaining, though, just because it is Purdue. That'd be the one concern I would have, is that, oh, crap, it's Purdue. They're going to do the garbage. But maybe not. Maybe it's maybe Purdue's able to, throw a little bit. Purdue's able to throw, mess around, and let Texas into the Elite Eight. That'd be fun to see, I would think. I see Marcus out in the chat. Marcus, appreciate you for popping in, my guy. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. And saying, dude looks like a generic 2K rookie named Kevin Hall. Oh my gosh. Yeah, honestly, I had to pull up someone from Nebraska, and I was like, you know what? I actually don't know their roster. Nebraska. Let me look up Nebraska basketball roster. Try to determine who this is. That's to be fair though. Like when I'm watching March Madness, generally speaking, I almost never know. I think it's Sam Holberg probably. Yeah, that looks like him. Sam Holberg. What a guy. He's always wearing a bandana too. It's either red or white, depending on what the situation is calling for. Yeah, there he is. That was who I was thinking of. The other guy I was actually thinking of for Nebraska was Price Sanford, because I was watching the Nebraska game. Not this one, but the one in the not the. I wasn't watching too much of Vandy, but I was watching them in the first round. And it was Price Sanford, and the announcer went, "The price is right!" And I'm like, dude, that guy's name must be Price, because why else would he say the price is right? And I just tuned in, and I was right. The price is right, because his name was Price. Who would have guessed? I also see Jay as well. Jay, appreciate you popping out as well. Talking about Price Sanford, you know how it is. Jay is saying, heard old UConn logo and had to come in. That logo needs to be put. No, they need to bring the logo back. I disagree. I think they should bring the logo back out for just this game against Michigan State. Because you have to understand, the reason why I think it's great to have a logo like that is because imagine, like if you're like a 15 seed, like, okay, you're probably going to lose to UConn. But if you're Michigan State with a real chance to beat a team like UConn and you lose when they're wearing that logo, like, could you imagine if just you come out, you're ready to go, and you see on their banners, you see like a dumbstruck like husky, you see a husky missing like several chromosomes, and then you're like, all right, we can't lose to these guys, and then all of a sudden they're up on like by 20, and then you go home knowing that you lost to a brain damaged husky. Like, I don't know, I think something about that's hilarious. I think something about that's awesome. Come on, and tell me that's not great. Tell me that's not amazing. Tell me that's not hilarious to have that happen. Mark is also asking, has an NBA superstar ever come out of Nebraska? I don't know. My guess is no. I don't know about superstars. Probably at least a player, right? Let's see. Delano Banton, Bryce McGowens, Isaiah Roby, Eric Piatkowski. Wait, T-Lou? No shot. Lou played at Nebraska? He did. Oh my god. Tyrone Lue played at Nebraska. Is that not common knowledge? I would think if Tyrone Lue played at Nebraska, most people wouldn't, like, that would be more televised. I don't know. That's wild. What? I would have never guessed. If you had asked me where Tyronn Lue played college ball, I would have never guessed in a million years. I would have never guessed. Nebraska has had 15 former players reach the National Basketball Association. Yeah, Delano. Oh my gosh. T. Lue is nuts. That's kind of cool. Tyronn Lue out of Nebraska. You could have given me 50. You could have given me a billion guesses. I would have never gotten it. I don't want your cookies, by the way. Game. Yeah, wow. Holy crap. Who would have thought, right? Dave Hoppin, Eric Johnson, Rich King. I'm trying to see who might be like a big name. Eric Strickland. Andrew White. Lou is only known for AI stepping over him, let's be honest. True. But I'm a little, I guess most people wouldn't know, huh? Wow. And then I think the three active ones are Delano Banton, Bryce McGowens, Jack McVeigh. Oh, the other fourth one active is Isaiah Roby. Huh. That's kind of wild. That's actually insane. I would have never expected T. Lue to be in the Nebraska Husk. That's hilarious. That's actually kind of funny. Oh, dude, Eric Piatkowski, dude, Suns legend. You don't know? You don't know about my Nebraska Suns legend? Come on. Marcus saying so they just a less talented, more white Duke. Yeah. I mean, honestly, these days, though, Duke... I mean, recently Duke's been white, but Duke's got some more ethnicity for sure than Nebraska. But yeah, Nebraska is just... It's limited. It's limited to say the least. But I mean, I would have never got that. I wonder. I'm gonna flip the script as well. See if they're. See like who's the best Nebraska Husker on the NFL side, because there's probably a bunch there. I know Abdullah was one, Amir Abdullah, but I don't know if there's anyone bigger than him on that side. Malik Collins, Omar. As of right. They're in. This is in the NFL right now, not all time. Jack Stoll, Cam Taylor Britt, Ben Scott, Ty Robinson. Anyone? Isaiah Nayor, Brendan Hymus, Luke Gifford. Gifford was that makes sense. Oh shoot, Nebraska Levante David just retired today. Why did I not know Levante David played at Nebraska? I don't know. Levante David always felt like an Oklahoma State for whatever reason. If I would have given a guess, I would have guessed Oklahoma State, not Nebraska. But yeah, how about that? Wow. Hopefully future Hall of Famer, but I just don't know if they'll let him in because they didn't let Kuechly in. Something tells me they're not going to let Levante David in first ballot either. But it is what it is. Jay, the Cornhuskers. It's not the only place, man. They're out in Duke. They're out near Duke too. They're out, just source trusts me, but they should have went in with the band Corn, had a night with dark black and red jerseys. Cornhuskers. They should have. That's like the band. Hold on. I don't. Oh, that would have actually been sick. The Cornhuskers. Oh my gosh. Y'all are crazy for this. I was thinking of a different ORN word, but you know what? Forget it. You know what? We just move on. But I'm really excited for the Sweet 16 overall, just in general. I hope y'all are as well. I want to more talk. I'll probably react to it more on Thursday. I think Thursday will just be me watching Texas as much as I can for about the better part of an hour. I probably won't watch the full game though, because I want to get some other stuff done as well. But I think that's what Thursday will be. Thursday will be watch night for the Sweet 16. So, and maybe we'll have it be for a longer than an hour or so. We'll see. I'm sure there's some way we can get it set up, but I'd be down to do that. That company too. Jay, I ain't saying that. I don't know if I'm saying that, Jake. We're gonna have to blur that. Oh my gosh. They lost the main company of that, lost their CEO, so they're gonna have to do something to win back their wages. I mean, oh my gosh. With that into song play. The drum beat. Someone did that. I thought someone did that for either March Madness or something that involved a drum. Someone played that intro. I don't know if it wasn't this year, but it was at least, I want to say it was either just before I was in college or a year into college. I'm not sure, but I feel like it happened either my junior year. I want to say there was a percussion band who played that as the start of their thing. Oh, I don't remember, but I'm sure it's out there somewhere. Someone can find it. That would be sick. But I vaguely remember there being it may not have been March Madness related even, but I remember there being somebody playing the drums that would do that intro, and it was the meme from with Leonardo DiCaprio. It was oh. I saw that. I heard that. Here I come. Here I come. Oh my gosh. It was a talent show and he was a Oh, okay. So it was I was going to say, because I remember hearing about that, or at least seeing a clip of it. I was like, oh, hey, I know that. I know. I know. I may or may not be familiar. Oh, anyway. Regarding the Sweet 16, I was very excited. I do want to talk a topic that I did harp on a lot yesterday, but I gotta readdress it in full in this stream, and that's what's going on, of course, with the NIL in March. because everybody is still talking about how the NIL is killing, not necessarily March now. I think it's more of the idea that they are ruining the idea of Cinderellas. Which, to be fair, is kind of true over the last 2 years. Cinderellas, at least between the 13s through the 16s, have struggled the last 2 years. There have been some that have been competitive, but obviously they have not been able to break through and win those games. That being said, I will make the argument that the NIL for March Madness has ultimately led to a better product, and not necessarily a better product even, but a more impressive group of teams in the tournament. First of all, the second round had the highest ratings ever of any March Madness tournament in history, despite not having any upsets. It was, I think, a 10.1 million was the official number that was recorded. Despite not having all a 13 or a 15 seed in there, the most. Why? Because people want to watch people want to watch the best teams play, and when you're looking at the gaps, the gap from the 4 and the 13 has probably gotten larger. But the gap between, say, a 1 seed and a 9 seed has significantly shrunk. And the power of of what were traditionally blue blood schools, your Dukes, your Kansases, your UConns, right? They are still very strong. There's no doubt. But they have definitely diminished in their overall strength. They're not as strong as they used to be. And what we're seeing is these other programs are able to use a little bit of their NIL money to say, let's go out and get a coach. Let's go out and get a guy. Let's go out and get someone to transfer and be a star over here and get us further into the tournament. And it's literally what happened with Iowa. Bennett Sturts, his coach, they come over from Drake. They now, I believe it was his coach over at Iowa, right? I want to say the Iowa coach right now is Ben McCollum, right? Am I crazy? Am I crazy? Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm tripping a little bit. But I mean, getting especially Bennett Sturts was a huge. Yeah, he came over from Drake. He brought Bennett Sturts. That to me is better. Is better for the sport, because then you're gonna have that. So now you've got at least not even at just the 1, but the 1 seed all the way through I would say the 10 or the 11 can all genuinely make deep runs with fair consistency, as opposed to just kind of every once in a while, right? So I think that's going to overall make the tournament more exciting. I think you are going to get a lot of those low-end double-digit seeds making it further. And in regards to Cinderella's being dead, I think that's an overreaction. There's no way they'll never win again, right? There will be lower seeded teams that will win down the stretch. It's just going to be an adjustment period. It's just that with the NIL and the way teams are now constructed, it is going to be a little harder, but they will adapt. There will be an adapting period, a time for those other lower seeds to kind of get their bearings, replant themselves, find a way to get back into, okay, we're in a position where we can pull off these kind of upsets, where we can make these kind of decisions and make these kind of moves to improve our overall team. And the best part, in my opinion, about all this is that if you're a dog water program, for example, take Syracuse. Syracuse has been dookie butter for the last 3 years. With NIL now, they just went out and got Jerry McNamara from Siena as their coach. They're now going to be much better. And the reality is, and they're going to also get his players that if they're going to end up playing from over in Siena, right? He's going to get some of those guys. And listen, if you're looking at it from that perspective, for a lot of programs in general, they're going to be faster turnarounds. They're not going to be miserable for years as long as they are semi-competent. If you are semi-competent, you will not be miserable for the next 7, 8, 10, 12, 15 years being a garbage program. You can actually turn the program around in a shorter amount of time. The parity at the high-end level is going to help with that. the understanding that those, and then look, it's going to be closer to almost like an NFL sense, where teams will actually genuinely be able to turn it around in a year or two's time, and the level of parity at the top is going to lead to a lot of different teams winning. Like, I don't think, like, Florida being knocked out that early is not a coincidence. Like, whoever wins this year, I would imagine, is going to get knocked out again very early next year. Like, let's say if Arizona or Michigan or Duke wins this year, I think that team probably gets ousted by the Sweet 16 or earlier. Like, they will get ousted in the Sweet 16 or they get ousted earlier, just because the level of parity at the top will be so much closer. All those teams will just be so much closer in strength because they don't dominate the field anymore. They don't dominate nearly as much as just having that brand and having that money to throw around. Now a lot of other college teams are able to play catch up with these blue bloods, which was admittedly a problem. People do not like the fact that blue bloods will control it. It's going to have a lot more parity. There's going to be a lot more different teams winning, and being at the top, I think it makes for a more exciting tournament. And it makes for a more exciting overall experience. And I don't think most people want to argue against it or not. I think it will make it a better tournament. It'll make it a better viewing product. The later rounds will be more entertaining. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Every time I'm talking with March Madness, all anyone wants to, they complain about NIL, and I tell you, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. I'm going to say it right now. It'll be A-okay, as it were. That's all I wanted to just kind of rehash my thoughts on that, because I got into a conversation about it literally today. I was like, listen, dog, we gotta move off of it. It's too much. The NIL as much, it will definitely, it hasn't had an effect on things, but it will back adjust. We will still get Cinderellas. May not get them as often, but again, let's also be frank, they weren't common until very, very recently. They were not common until recently. Marcus in the chat saying, here's my take. It's usually a big-time college program winning it. When was the last Cinderella or small school to win the championship, and what year was it? Do we consider the Marcus Camby UMass team a Cinderella team, because that's the last small team I remember having success? I think the way people discuss Cinderellas is essentially any time a team that is, I want to say, 9 or more spots away. Because I don't think people view 12 seeds as Cinderellas. Especially because the expectation is that there's so much of them to win. But the truth is, and if we're talking about small teams being what I would consider Cinderellas, like March Madness upsets all time. There should be I was looking at those, NCAA Division I championships. No seed lower than a 9 has ever won the whole thing. Right? No 9 seed or lower has won the whole thing. No 9 seed or lower has even, been to the championship. So, when we talk about, this Cinderella run, those aren't the teams that are generally winning it anyway. In fact, I think we would be, right now with NIL, I think we would be closer to a 9 seed winning it than we would ever, or a 9 seed even getting to the national championship than we would ever be. Right now, I'm not saying Iowa's a guarantee. I'm not saying that by any stretch of the imagination. But if we're talking how close a 9 seed could be to actually making it that far, certainly. And again, this was a sport for years. Before 2018, there was no 16 seed winning. And then all of a sudden we had 2 in 5 years, right? Same thing with, say, a 15 seed. We've never seen a 15 seed farther than the Elite 8. We've never seen 14 or 13 seed farther than the Sweet 16, right? We've never seen a 12 seed farther than the Elite 8, right? So, at a certain point, there's a position where you have these lower seeds that, yes, they will win occasionally, but at the end of the day, as awesome as it is to see, unfortunately, I feel that it's very inconsequential when looking at the grand scheme of things. They will. It's not like they won't win. Back-to-back years they haven't won. if anything, I would argue I'm surprised that hasn't happened, considering how often that they had won in previous years regardless. Because, I mean, listen, the idea is, hey, you're a 14 seed, you're like a 3 of 1 to a 4 seed. The expectation is, hey, don't get bounced in the first round, bub. Like, that's the idea. So I feel at a certain point and it becomes inconsequential anyway, because, like, say a 4 seed loses to a 13, right? Now let's say a 5 would play like a 12 or a 13, 5 would just beat a 12 and a 13, get to the next round and then lose. Like it's cool to see the smaller seed do it, but ultimately it's inconsequential because the idea is, yeah, they're probably going to get smoked by that 1 seed when they do run into them. It's at least that's my perspective. And I mean, listen, it's not that they haven't had those upsets before, but I don't view it as the be all end all. Like if you had to be honest with me, I think the closer, because I don't want to, like, yes, watching a 12 seed's fun, but eventually another shoe drops and that 12 seed just gets smoked. Like that's how I felt with Syracuse. Syracuse's Final Four run, I want to say it was 2016, and then they lost to UNC, was amazing. It was incredible. And then watching them get dusted by UNC embarrassingly, yeah, that wasn't fun at all. Like, if you're going to have a final, like, thank goodness we had Villanova versus UNC, one of the best championship endings of all time, one of the best games of all time. But, I mean, at the end of the day, when you know that kind of event is coming and you know that the other shoe is going to drop, it takes away a lot, I think, from the idea of a Cinderella story of it all, to just watch them get trounced. And people say, oh, well, the story was great. Yeah, but it made me watch that stink. I don't know. Jay also saying, at the same time, a smaller school needs to take a chance at that prospect who is considered untouchable and try and work with him. I'd also agree with that, too. I don't think those stars are untouchable either. Like, especially for stars who follow their coaches. Like, when you talk about their coaches, when you talk about guys like, say, for Iowa's a great example. Like, Drake was a smaller program. Iowa got a little bit better and chased them. The other schools that are smaller can also try. Like, if you can get one coach, you can get his players. Like, that's part of it too. And I think there is a certain level where it's not like these schools have zero NIL money to toss around. Obviously, in perspective, they probably have less. They do. They have less than, like, obviously, a High Point has less money to toss around than a Duke. But if you're a team, like, again, if you're looking at Duke, think about how many guys they have on the roster overall that are very good. Not all those guys are getting paid to a certain extent the same amount. Not all those guys are getting paid as, like, who's making the most there? Probably Cam Boozer, right? Not all the other guys are making the same level of money. If you come over to a guy and say, hey, we're offering you an opportunity to come here, make maybe a little bit more money, not the same as maybe what Boozer would be making, but a little bit more money than you're making now, and, like, you get to play with like one of your assistant coaches or whatever, or something like that. That kind of level, it's basically what teams do at the professional level of poaching other teams, right? And when you talk about teams taking advantage of the transfer portal, it's a skill. It's a skill, and it can be capitalized on. And you can take advantage of the transfer portal to get your guys. It is something that the lower teams can physically get better at, and I think they will. It's just going to take time because it wasn't necessarily something that they relied on in the past. So now they're going to have to rely on it, and I won't say it'll even be fixed necessarily by 2026, but by 2030 or by 2027 start of the tournament, but by 2030, I would imagine that those lower seeded teams, they'll have figured it out. They'll have figured out how to work the system. The good ones that'll understand where it's coming from, they'll be able to grasp the new NIL system. The ones that are able to grasp it will be there in the tournament and be pulling off upsets. The ones that don't, we just won't see in the tournament. Like, that's where we're going to get to. We're going to get to a point where those teams will understand how to take advantage of these NIL contracts, and the teams that don't just won't be there. And I don't think it's going to kill it. I don't think so personally. Mark's also saying, I'm so old school. I remember when coaches were offering opportunities. Yeah, I got a great opportunity for you. like pitching them like penny stocks, like it's Wolf of Wall Street. You're like, listen, something just came across my desk. Bennett starts. Something came across my desk that is so good and so. I just want to take a few minutes to talk about it. Mind if you sit down? I just want to talk about it for a few minutes. It's gonna be like that. It's gonna be straight up Wolf of Wall Street getting these players to play. Jay also says, "Yup, my SAT score was low. Wasn't getting into a D1 school for baseball. Had D2 schools offer me an opportunity to start as a freshman, which was money. Hell, but grateful for the opportunity." Right, exactly. I think the way the opportunity versus the money has changed is crazy. Like, listen, if someone's giving me an opportunity to play like competitive dodgeball, or listen, if somebody wants to pay me to be a kicker, I am training right now. Somebody wants to give me even an opportunity to be a kicker, you can pay me in breadcrumbs, and I'll say, hey, I'm taking it. I'll take your offer. Let's go. Let's go run this. I'll do it. I'll do it right now. Get me suited up. Get me suited up for, I'm trying to think of, like, D2 calls. You know what? Get me up on ECU. Get me up on East Coastal University. Come on. Let me see. Let me run up for ECU. Let me kick for Marshall. Let's do this. Come on, boys. Let's roll. I'll get suited up right now. I will go play kicker for Marshall at 24 years old. Here we go. I'll run it back. Oh, but I think NIL. I think the overall March Madness tournament will course correct, and NIL will. It'll take time. It's currently a little bit in remission, but we'll get back to, quote unquote, previous Cinderella March Madness. It will come back. It'll just take some time. I'm gonna refrain from March Madness talk for the rest of the episode. I'm gonna try to get into. We'll be obviously here for. I'll be probably reacting to most of the Texas Purdue matchup that tips off at 7:10 on Thursday, so I'll be streaming for that. But as for the rest of the episode, I got two major football topics to get into regarding one quarterback and one overall team. So let's get into that. First, that main quarterback I need to talk about is none other than Alabama QB Ty Simpson. I don't even know if I picked him. That could just end up being Mac Jones for all I know. But regardless, Ty Simpson. Some reports as of recently as I believe yesterday, and then some things today regarding Adam Schefter was with Pat McAfee on the Pat McAfee show, and he mentioned that was talking with some of the GMs, some of the scouts, and basically saying, Ty Simpson, from all the talk and the buzz, feels like a first-round pick from what I've heard. And then Dan Orlovsky added to this, this hype, this drama, this buzz, by saying, I've DM'd, texted, like, I think you said 12 to 15 general managers, top scouts, something along those lines, and said, I told them, listen, Ty Simpson is a first-round quarterback. I have him as a first-round quarterback, and only 2 of them texted him back in disagreement, which is obviously implying that, the other 13 or 11 of them agreed with him. Which, I mean, it's not necessarily a guarantee that, they automatically agreed with him. They may have just left him on red for all we know. But, and again, Dan Orlovsky, his opinion to me is more of something that I take with a grain of salt based on his previous quarterback takes. But the Ty Simpson hype is interesting. It's interesting for a few reasons, because I do think he's a genuinely talented guy. I think especially what we saw in the first half of the college football season was very impressive. He was wheeling and dealing a lot of times. He did take over multiple games in multiple instances, and he looked promising for a guy, in his first season. For his first season of college football, looked very promising, and then kind of didn't quite look like the same guy the second half of the year, but still very high enough grade going into the draft. Could be like more of a project quarterback, in my opinion. I think you should let him kind of sit a year, learn the system before just throwing him to the wolves. The only reason that I think Simpson goes in the first round really at all is basically the fact that someone like Dante Moore is not in this draft. If Moore is in this draft, Simpson's not in the first round, in my opinion. Because, again, in a draft like this, where Fernando Mendoza is very clearly number 1, The Raiders are stuck to him like glue at this point. I doubt they would make a switch at this point in the draft. They're very attached to Mendoza. This draft, teams need quarterbacks. And unfortunately, there's going to be some sucker that's not going to want to wait till next year. Because when you look at the next year class, and again, this is potential. This is the potential guys that could be first rounders. When you look at the first round, you have Julian Sayin, Ohio State. Now, obviously, Ohio State guys, some people don't touch with a 10-foot pole, but he could be in the number 1 pick conversation. Obviously, you're going to have Arch Manning there as well. Dante Moore is going to go back. We'll see if he can have the same level of success. South Carolina kid, Sellers. Lenora Sellers will be in the mix. I believe Jaden Maivia, USC kid. He is going to be in the mix. I'm also a Trinidad Chambliss guy. He could be in the mix depending on what kind of season he has, right? So, and then I believe it's Sorsby from Texas Tech and then Sam Levitt for LSU. But listen, the point is, it is a potential next year to be a stat quarterback class. The only reason that I imagine that Ty Simpson is being hyped is very simple. I think, and this is me putting on my conspiracy hat a little bit, but I like doing this. I think there are GMs hyping up Ty Simpson simply because they know they are not going to draft him. They know they won't draft him. Like, for example, if I'm, say, the general manager of the Buffalo Bills, let's say I'm Brandon Beane right now. If I'm Brandon Beane, I already know I have Josh Allen, and I know I'm not drafting Ty Simpson. The only thing that really helps me is to just say, yeah, I think Ty Simpson's a first rounder. You know why? Because I'm not taking him. And if I'm not taking Ty Simpson, I should hype him up and convince someone else to get him, so that way I have a better chance of getting a player when our draft pick comes up. That's my logic. I think that makes a lot of sense, and it would make sense why about half of the league is saying that he should be a first-round pick, whether they believe it or not. Because, like, yeah, they're probably not going to take him. Like, Chiefs aren't going to take him. Bills aren't taking him. Broncos aren't taking him. Pats aren't taking him. I doubt that, like, a team like Houston would even take him. Would it seem like the Eagles aren't going to take him, right? Cowboys aren't taking him. I mean, Rams probably might. The Rams could technically take him, but I wouldn't imagine so. Seattle's not going to take him. I mean, at the end of the day, it's Baltimore's not going to take him. Cincinnati's not going to take him. Like, at a certain point, they're trying to, I think, bait. Like, half the teams are like, hey, why don't we just bait one of these teams into taking him? Like, could you imagine if the Jets took Ty Simpson at, like, I mean, I don't. They wouldn't do 2, but at like 16, and then someone who's in that low teen range or high 20 range, or low 20, or rather high teen, low 20 range, he's like, oh shoot, Jets took Simpson, we can go get our guy that was there potentially. So I think that's part of it. I think some of that like kind of hype is part of the game. I think it's just something that GMs do. I think Simpson, being said, can go in the first round. He is talented enough. But I think part of it is teams are trying to overhype him a little bit so they can try to get their guy. It's because again, you don't know which GMs know what they're doing and know what they don't. As like from a GM perspective, like not every single guy do you know right away. Like, oh, that guy, I know what he's doing. I may know or I may not know, but I'll find out, right? So I think it's going to be very interesting to see Ty, and of course, again, Ty doesn't get this hype if, Moore is in the draft. I don't think he does. And I think somebody probably will. The question is where and who. Jets are an option. I'm going to say no, just because I don't think they have too many holes in too many other positions. The only real teams, and this is why I say it's kind of unfortunate, the only real teams I could see making a move like this are 2. And I don't think either of them do for a couple reasons. Number 1, Minnesota. Now, I don't think Minnesota makes this move in part because if they were to draft Simpson with Kyler Murray on the roster, and Kyler Murray's having a good year, there's no reason to play Simpson, then your question, if Kyler plays well, do you keep him? Because now it's almost like you're pressured to play Simpson again. You just be repeating the McCarthy thing. And I don't think the Vikings are going to do that at all. I don't think the Vikings would do that. Pittsburgh's an option. I don't like that it's an option, but it is an option. And again, I think the same issue is they're not in a position where they're going to get a quarterback in the next draft because I still think they're going to win too many games to get someone like high up there. So if you're Pittsburgh, it is possible that they also draft Simpson. And the other team that makes sense, and I think is honestly the best fit, is the LA Rams. If the LA Rams say, obviously they trade that first round pick away, but if they were able to leap back into the first round or up into the early second and say, okay, let's go get Simpson, let's have him be a backup in the event, because again, you don't know how long Matthew Stafford's going to play for. That's another option as well. But I think someone's going to get baited. I really kind of hope it's not Pittsburgh, because I think he's more of a project guy, and I think if you were to throw him to the Wolves early, it's just going to slow down the development process. To be honest, I hope Simpson falls to the second round and is given an opportunity to develop slowly as opposed to needing to go play like right away. And I think most of the teams that would draft him just have too many significant holes at too many other positions where it would be a way for him to succeed, especially as kind of, again, was a first year in college starting last year, first years of college starting. He's going to need some time to develop a little bit over time. So we'll see. I do think a lot of that hype, though, is definitely being generated just because there's no Dante Moore, and they just need another QB to talk about. It's kind of similar to how they almost talked about Dart last year, but they're always. It doesn't matter how many QBs they think they're going in the first round. They're always going to try to add one more. They'll try to add one more guy. So it definitely feels that way with Simpson a little bit. Mark is also saying, if Danny Ho texted me, he'd be blocked and reported as spam. I would just change his name in my phone to Pizza Hut or something, or Domino's. Danny-O's. Domino Danny-O's, let me order some Danny-O's. I would just FaceTime Dan just to troll him. If I had Dan Orlovsky's number, I might just troll him while he's on set, just FaceTime him and be like, that was a bad take. What are you doing? Come on, dude, lock in. Why are you saying Zach Wilson's is better than you think he is? He's not. Come on, lock in. Jay also saying, while first round talent, I see him going second or third round. Yeah, I probably the better case, but I think someone's gonna take the bait. Now I've heard reports saying as high as the top 10. Ain't no way that happens. There's too many better players inside the top 10, and I don't think the need for necessarily someone to start right now is that strong. I understand the need for franchise quarterback is, but with how stacked the 2027 class has the potential of being, I don't think anyone drafts inside the top 10. But I think someone will end up taking him in the first round, even though I don't necessarily agree with it. They said the same thing about Geno, a first round talent. Yep, they did. They've pushed that with a lot of guys. They pushed that with Paxton Lynch. Actually, Paxton Lynch may have been already first rounder, but they always try to push in somebody into the first round, and they're usually wrong. But there have been some times where they've hit. A lot of people thought Lamar Jackson was going to be a second rounder. He slides into the first, and obviously that one works out. But not every quarter. For example, 2022, that was an awful quarterback class, and they try to push Kenny Pickett and Malik Willis and all these guys, and it's crazy now that Malik is going to have a chance to be an actual starter. But Kenny Pickett, it was a tough one to push. Despite that, say what you want about Kenny. Kenny Pickett led back-to-back game-winning drives in primetime games. So say what you want. Kenny Pickett's a prime-timer. I'll tell you right now. As bad as he's been as of late, I've been fairly impressed with. I was impressed those couple nights. Not so much the rest of the time he played for us, but it is what it is regarding that. And finally, after done talking Simpson, I do have some things to get out about one particular team that has had some news come out, and that is none other than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So let me kind of get into my rant on the Bucs. So, a couple things. Number one, Levante David just retired. Respect to him. 14-year career. Amazing guy. I think should be a Hall of Famer. That's a debatable one for a lot of people, but that's not what I'm here to debate. The main thing that came out recently is that the Buccaneers are looking to discuss a new contract with Baker Mayfield, who, as of right now, is going to be a free agent after the 2026 season. It'd be possible to void his contract out of so he would be unrestricted free agent as of 2027. So here's the thing that's interesting with Baker. It's not even really a thing about Baker. It's a thing about the Bucs. Tampa is in a very critical time in the NFC South. And I think this will be a little bit of a sneak peek NFC South preview prior to the draft. I'll probably do my team previews closer at maybe probably a month starting after the draft. But in terms of the state of the NFC South, I think Tampa, as of right now, made a very, I think, ultimately short-sighted decision to not fire Todd Bowles. I think that they will end up firing Todd Bowles at the end of 2026, or potentially midway through, and as a result, Tampa's going to be in a lot of trouble. Because right now, first, they lose Mike Evans. Levante David retires. Jamel Dean goes to Pittsburgh. So Mike is in San Fran. Jamel Dean goes to Pittsburgh. Levante David's heading off to retirement. If you are Tampa, you have significantly lost talent over the last several years. Now, you have some guys. You have Christian Wirfs, Antoine Winfield, Vita Vea, and Baker. But Chris Godwin's an older receiver. He's your wide receiver 1 right now. He is 30, and he has been banged up throughout his time in Tampa. Emeka Egbuka, talented rookie at the start, didn't finish his rookie season as strong as many would have liked. And, of course, Tampa struggled mightily down the stretch when they were supposed to be healthier. And now you saw Carolina win the division. You saw Atlanta go out and get a new head coach, a 2-time coach of the year. And we saw the Saints play very well down the second half of the stretch. If you're Tampa, you can argue you might have still the best quarterback in the division in Baker. What you cannot argue is that you do not have a top 2 coach in the division, and you could argue they have the worst coach in the division in Todd Bowles. Because remember, this team under Bruce Arians with the Tampa Bay Bucks won a Super Bowl and got to the divisional round and still almost beat that then Super Bowl champion Rams. In a very close game, they almost came back. Todd Bowles takes over, wins 3 straight division championships, wins 1 playoff game, but never has more than 10 wins in a season. 8-9, 9-8, 10-7, 8-9. Excuse me, it was, yeah, that's right. Am I right on that? 8-9, 9-8, 10-7, 8-9. In the last 4 years. So, generally speaking, average. And now they are the most devoid of their overall talent that they had on that Super Bowl run that they've ever been. They are far detached from that Super Bowl 5 years ago. 5 or 6 years ago. So, where does that place them? Especially now that they are now about to give Baker a contract. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I think they are going to overpay Baker Mayfield. If they gave him a Sam Darnold-esque contract, it would be fair. And a lot of I've seen not reports, but people discussing this contract as if it is going to be a Sam Darnold-esque contract. I'm not so sure it is. Because if you look at someone like Daniel Jones, who somehow again got overpaid, then there is a very real chance that Baker gets overpaid. And the issue with Baker getting overpaid on this Bucs roster is that this Bucs roster is not nearly as good as it was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. It's diminished over time. And Todd Bowles is not a good enough coach to work with a overall diminished Bucs roster. Carolina went out and made moves. They went out and paid Jalen Phillips. They're looking to make moves. They had the better receiver drafted in the first round in Tedero McMillan. Atlanta went out, made moves. They may not have the best quarterback, but they have a much better coach now. And the Saints, they were good down the stretch. So all of a sudden, Tampa could very much be looking at 4th place in that division next year. They could very much be staring 4th place down, because right now, all it would take I mean, right now, say if Tampa loses Baker Mayfield for any amount of time, they don't have nearly enough to compete if they were to lose a Baker, right? Because at least with Atlanta, if let's say they don't have Michael Penix, Tua will be fine. Tua's like, what's the difference between the two, right? But if the Bucs are too destitute on their roster right now to be, as in my opinion, as fairly passive as they have been in free agency, they're going to need to make at least a couple big moves in the draft if they're going to want to contend with the rest of the NFC South. Because before, the NFC South was weak enough where they didn't need to do anything. Now, it's better. It's better. It's more improved. It's got teams looking to be aggressive and making moves. Tampa didn't, and now they're in this position. So I think one of my hot takes very early already is that Tampa's going to be last place in that NFC South. Right now, it's spicy. Saints would need to be good. Falcons would need to be good. Carolina would need to be good. But right now, I think Tampa's staring down fourth place right at the bottom of the barrel. Because New Orleans got better faster than I think a lot of people anticipated. We'll see. But right now, early NFC South preview, it's not looking good for the Bucs. And after that, that's all I have for this episode of Primetime Podcast, episode 69. Nice. I appreciate y'all for tuning in, coming into the 69th installment. My goodness, man. What a nice number. Honestly, don't we love episode 69 way more than we love an episode like, honestly, it's better than episode 50, episode 25, episode 67. 69 is going to be the best one. It's going to be the best one until either like 100 or 420. Those are probably where I'd be ranking my great numbers. That has been another little episode of Primetime with Philip White. Also, on another related note, I saw that Tua was talking about football, saying that his best football was ahead of him. Yeah, I doubt it. I think Michael Penix might have some good football ahead of him, but as for Tua, I am not so certain. So I appreciate each and every one of you guys for tuning in and watching an episode. Of course, you know the deal. If you liked it, hit the like button. If you think more people should see it, send it to them. And I will be here this Thursday. Looking to get some Texas-Purdue basketball in around 7 o'clock. So a lot of that live streaming. And I'll be here answering any questions that you guys have, whether it's March Madness, whether it's NFL, whether it's NBA, whether it's the Masters, I don't know, whether it's anything related. Just be a little chill vibe sesh for that Thursday. So, again, appreciate y'all for watching. And I will see you guys in the next one. This has been Philip White, Primetime Podcast, episode number 69. Nice. Y'all have a good one. Have a good evening. I will see y'all Thursday. Later.